Alright everybody, we're gonna get things underway in just a sec. Welcome everybody to the solo championship here at TI4. The battle is underway. We've got our first match of today. It's the quarterfinals. We've got Dendi taking on Arteezy. I'm Gods, and joining me is Ben Merlini Wu. How are we doing?
I'm very excited to see some one-on-one matchup. I am a mid player myself, and I love seeing these fantastic players duke it out. And unfortunately, one of these players will be eliminated. I love both of these guys.
Yeah.
Dendi on Radiant, Arteezy on the Dire.
Dendi just crushed this block too. Arteezy.
That's hard on Radiant too. Yeah. Well played.
They actually went for very different builds. Oh, well, I'd say very different, but it's slightly different here. Arteezy going for the 2 branches, Dendi going for the starting item Tangos. So with the extra regen, Dendi can definitely be a bit more aggressive as far as this lane's concerned.
Yes, but Dendi did have the better block, but now the wave is going to be on Arteezy's side after this creep wave dies, so that's a little bit unfortunate for him. But in terms of CFs, they're actually both playing very, very aggressively, and this is something that you see more out of the style of Navi and EG players. They just love aggression from get-go. They won't be they will be bottle crowing, but they're not concentrating on that yet.
Yep. And for those of you wondering about how this works, the format and all that, it's first to 1 kill or tower. It's a best of 3, so game 1 is going to be Puck versus Puck, game 2 is Quap versus Quap, and then if it does need a game 3, it will be Shadow Fiend versus Shadow Fiend. That's for all 4 quarterfinals. The player list: Arteezy, Dendi, Resolution, FY, Ferrari, and 2 others whose names currently elude me, Mushi and Ice. So those are the 8 players that you'll have competing in this tournament. So still very even. Neither play with any denies, but 1v1 mid, you don't really need to actually get the deny. It's all about like the pseudo denies, really, more than anything.
Yeah, both are almost exactly even in terms of CS. 8-0 for Arteezy, 7-1 for Dendi, and both of them have actually opted for the 2-0-1 build. I expected them to go like a 1-1-1, maybe even a 1-2-1, because silence is just so important at killing each of these players. And look at Arteezy's sash. He's actually going for a null talisman.
It's the Arteezy way.
Yeah, but at the same time, like it's so difficult to kill very early on, and if you don't get bottle crow, you're gonna lose out in the war of attrition.
Well, look, he's lost 1v1s by not buying enough Nell tallies, so he's like, I'm gonna stock up, get at least a couple, maybe a couple more, and go from there. But we'll see. Dendi saving up money, so I imagine Dendi gonna go for a fast bottle. I think he scouted the fact that the room was top, like he poked his head up there. If it was a DD maybe, or illusion, maybe goes and gets it, but Invis is not gonna help him last hit at all. So until he has his bottle, he doesn't really care about picking that one up at all. Oh, Dendi getting aggressive here.
Dendi has a cell.
It's 2 nulls. Who's actually going to win this right click war? Arteezy's trying to battle this one out. I think he realizes he's not going to win this.
He needs one more hit. Oh, that's not. Oh, that was so close. Oh my goodness. But Puck, he does have the upper edge, or sorry, Dendi has the upper edge with a self, and I think he's trying to use that.
Does he get bottle?
It's coming now.
Jeez, that's ugly. Arteezy's going to go base. He has to.
I think Dendi actually could have killed Arteezy there. He had 63 HP. It probably would have taken 2 hits
again, but
it was on cooldown. Yeah. He would have gotten 1 more hit. He would have probably been in single-digit HP, but not actually died at that point. But now Dendi, bottle crow, didn't drop his null, so not super efficient.
Dendi's a gentleman. He's not bottle crowing. The Courier's going back to base.
Well, he doesn't need to. He got the rune.
He's a magic stick coming as well, so all about that magic stick life. And Arteezy's got a TP back. He's committed to the null talisman.
I don't think the null talisman build is worth it in this scenario. It gives you a decent amount of damage, but at this point, like your orb and stuff does so much more damage than your right clicks. And Puck's actually going for a 2-0-2 on Arteezy. What is this double face shift? No silence. He's gonna get wrecked. Or so I feel.
Oh man, this can't be serious.
Usually, you want max face shift for team fights, for using your blink dagger afterwards, but not in a straight man fight. Like, what are you actually waiting for? If you're waiting for,
the cooldown doesn't change, so
yeah, the cooldown doesn't change. You just sit in there a little bit longer. And Dendi getting another rune. Nice use of reserve reward there. The other rewards are actually really, really important in one-on-one come the first nighttime.
Yeah, Arteezy's just gonna play maybe like a war of attrition. Just look to last hit for days and never go for kills.
But because Puck has, or Dendi has, I keep calling him Puck and whatnot, but Dendi has almost infinite mana at this point, especially with far better rune control.
Yeah.
And he has much greater kill potential because Arteezy can't even silence Dendi. So if he,
I guess Arteezy can just farm creeps. Never going to kill Dendi's the problem, though.
That's it. He doesn't have that much more base damage, though. 81 versus 70. That's not that much more.
The 1-0 advantage. Arteezy now gets his bottle, so he's going to bring his bottle out. He can bottle crow as much as he wants. So he gets a 3rd point in the orb. We're not seeing any waning rift yet, though, which is surprising.
Oh, nice dodge by Dendi. He baited out the illusory orb there, and now Dendi playing very, very aggressively.
Not going to commit to this kill. Gets him down to 250 HP, but that's as the bottle arrives, and the courier is going to hang around. It's going to be some bottle crowing, although it's not actually an upgraded courier. He actually leaves 1 charge on there, so... It's a lot of money to upgrade that courier. Do you think, at what stage do you actually look to upgrade the courier? Do you think Arteezy's going to do it as soon as he has the money, or is he going to get stuff like boots first?
I think he should do it ASAP. Boots. Wow. Oh, Dendi going in with the coil.
Breaks the coil, takes a lot of damage there. Dendi has a follow-up orb. Arteezy.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
If he cast that earlier, as it followed, oh my gosh, that would have been so next level. So Dendi with 2 kill attempts. Arteezy
the
still
same, though. That's the scary thing here. Like, Dendi, like... It looks like Dendi is owning right now, but end of the day, the CS is more or less the same.
Well, yeah, Arteezy's using a lot of his mana to farm creeps, and actually Arteezy's almost at full mana right now.
Yeah, doesn't have the HP, but his bottle will arrive again soon. Dendi, Basser Ring picked up, probably starting to think that he can just push out the wave, do some damage to the tower. If he's not going to get kills, your next objective, or your other objective, is to get that tower. Oh, then he gets a DD rune.
And a Bassi, which is a little bit unusual, but the win condition for this 1v1 is first tower or first kill, and if Arteezy has to go home again, that's like at least a 3rd damage on the tower.
Arteezy's going for a kill against a DD rune Puck. He orbs to the high ground here, wants to go back in after bottling up, avoids the orb here. Dendi gonna go back to safety to his tower, bottles up as well. He's also very low on mana, has an orb soonish, but that's easy.
You can tell that both of these players play Puck a lot too.
Oh, he's going for this. Dendi's got a DD rune, but he's on the low ground. He needs to get the high ground advantage and gets himself back to his tower. Arteezy almost gets a kill there.
Yep.
He's battling against a double damage rune Puck and comes out on top. Dendi's got to go back to base.
His position is just so incredibly good though, as Dendi is forced to fight from downhill. He has vision, but it's either you walk uphill and you lose 2 last hits, and then Arteezy can just bounce because he had the coil there, or you stand there and fight and have to deal with that very high miss chance. Not very high, but high enough.
Do you think either of these players actually has an advantage as we stand right now?
I would say no, because Dendi's going to TP back. He's going to have like almost full HP and mana. Arteezy has too. Both of their coils are pretty close to being off cooldown, and 8-minute rune has not gone to anyone yet. So I would say no advantage either side.
Dendi's been all about the runes. Arteezy, no vision of them. Dendi actually spent 150 gold on wards to get high ground vision as well as rune vision. Guaranteed, got him all 3 runes so far, but end of the day, Arteezy's just sitting back, farming, playing passively, bottle crowing now that's available to him. Both Pucks very even on CS. Dendi with half a level advantage, but that's not going to win you this game. That 1 kill, that 1 tower is going to be what decides it. And
I think the 3 levels of waning rift though might seal the deal for Arteezy, and this is actually not terribly uncommon in an int versus int matchup where silences aren't actually that useful. You have to go for mass right click damage because that's going to be the most significant source of your damage.
Well, Dendi starts damage on this tower with his creep wave, a siege creep and all that, but end of the day he did less than 200 damage to this tower, so bit by bit maybe he brings the tower down. Did force out a glyph, but how much of a difference maker is that going to be? And
now Dendi picking up boots into stash, so this is kind of like the stand and fight build. You don't want to be the first person to run. Oh,
just gonna break the coil here. Dendi's got max waning rift. Arteezy could be in a lot.
Oh no!
He's still got Magic 6 first blood. Dendi, that's your GG. Game
too many runes for Dendi. I think that's really what broke Arteezy's back. And he had that really nice turnaround. I didn't see that one coming, but in the end, Dendi does take it. He just was able to put out so much more pressure, and I think his skill build and item build was far superior.
Yeah.
I'm still not sure why Arteezy went for a second null instead of a bottle, and I don't know why he didn't skill waning rift.
Welcome back already. It's time for game 2 of Dendi versus Arteezy. We've got Queen of Pain versus Queen of Pain. Arteezy on the Radiant, Dendi on the Dire. I'm Gods, and joining me is Merlini. What's the key to success in Queen of Pain versus Queen of Pain?
Queen of Pain versus Queen of Pain. I actually think that the element of surprise is pretty important. You will actually see some Queen of Pain skip Blink in the first 3 levels, which they don't expect to burst. So like let's say level 4, you have 2 Shadow Strike and 2 Scream of Pain. People don't expect that, and you can often get a kill because they underestimate the damage. Other than that, I think the standard build of Null with 1 set of regen into a into bottle and just bottle crow in this particular matchup. I also think that you can go a different route with going with a lot of regen early, like a salve and a tango over your opponent, and then just play hyper aggressively at level 1, and then you salve up, they tango up, and then you just keep the pressure mounting. But if you do that, you can't actually get a null talisman, so there are sacrifices each way.
30 seconds to
Dendi and
battle.
Arteezy sharing war stories here. Arteezy accidentally getting level 2 phase shift apparently, because he's scared of Dendi.
Was it an accident? I don't think it was. You'll very rarely
he
see
says,
players in this game.
I got 2 phase shift, you scared me. Maybe it was an accident, but he got the second point because he was scared of Dendi's the mind games. Whereas Dendi, last year's 1v1 championship, left his career at the Rune and didn't get to use it because of that.
The battle
apparently.
begins.
So,
I don't remember that.
we'll have the returning 1v1 champion, Ice playing later today. Mushi, the runner-up, also in the 1v1 tournament, so DK well represented here.
Oh, and of course the block is super important. As we see Dendi last time, he actually got a better block on Radiant, which is very, very rare. You won't see that very often. Most of the time Dire will get even or slightly better block.
Well, Arteezy, I mean, he invented the Arteezy block, but Dendi made that one of those. There was an amazing video all about blocking back in Dota 1 when he did like an how to play SF kind of video. So we'll see how the start get things going here. And Shadow Strike level 1 from Arteezy for Dendi has not actually skilled anything up just yet. Dendi's got Shadow Strike and 2 creeps on him. This is a lot of damage.
Yeah, that's way too much damage to take this early. Dendi, if he really wanted to go with a blink build, he should have just blinked as soon as he saw the Shadow Strike or heard it in his, and then just dodged it, and then you can actually win this slight war of attrition doing that. But you have to be very, very quick about blinking. You can even blink forward. Actually, it's not the worst idea in the world as long as you do dodge a Shadow Strike. But Dendi is on his own hill, and he will have the protection of that, so Arteezy can't put out further aggression. And he knows he's a little bit behind and will ferry himself over a flask.
This Dendi did the same thing last time with the puck, where he starts with Tangos and gets an insta-salve. Arteezy, on the other hand, 2 branches again, brings out Tangos as soon as he can afford it, and they're trading Shadow Strikes here in the mid lane.
They didn't dodge it, and neither of them did. And Dendi might actually die very, very soon.
Oh, he's gonna blink. Blink forward from Arteezy, he's got the next right click. Dendi's done, no salve and a Tango, one more right click. Arteezy, 1 minute 33 seconds.
That's the thing about 1v1s. You mess up that badly, that early. He was at 200 damage before he even got 1 creep, and then he just paid for his mistakes. Without the use of a salve, even with Shadow Strike, it's too much. Players need to be very, very well versed in this matchup, and most of them should. Shadow Fiend versus Shadow Fiend is probably the most classic one-on-one matchup. And there will be a little bit of rune luck involved, but other than that, it's down to skill, down to raises, down to CSing. And both people, almost every player will start with a Wraith Band and 2 branches in this, so you get maximum damage early. Dendi opting for the Tangos, and he didn't get a salve last time. Generally, you want a salve in Shadow Fiend versus Shadow Fiend, I feel like, because the damage it's very bursty, but they can't like proc your salve from out of range because Shadow Fiend actually doesn't have max range. He only has 500, not 600. But this one, again, very, very important when it comes down to the block. It's far more important in range versus range than melee versus melee.
Alright, well, we'll see how things pan out here. Creep's about to spawn. One of the things we talked about, Radiant versus Dire. Dendi being Radiant game 1, game 3. So far, Radiant's won all 2 games. And do you think Radiant has a bit of an advantage?
I think
as far as mid
there's a slight advantage. Looking at the mid lane, just from cliff to tree, it's this distance is much shorter than these 2 distances. So you can see that you can fog a little bit quicker, but fog doesn't actually matter in too many of the matchups. For example, if Shadow Fiend versus Shadow Fiend, you dodge behind the trees, you just raise into the trees. But
if they go for kills, like looking at that game just then, where Arteezy gets a kill a minute and a half in by going high ground, if that's the other side of the map, maybe you can fog him before he chases you down.
The battle begins.
So there's more potential for chasing if you're Radiant, I guess.
Yes, but just slightly, and you are a little bit more constricted in the areas that you can navigate around the side too, so you also have that. Okay. It's more open, which means more room to navigate, but less room to juke.
Alright, well the other big thing as far as the mid-match is concerned, the blocks coming out now. Arteezy on the Dire side. Game 1 was a very one-sided block, and we'll see how Game 2 pans out. It looks like both players fairly even. Arteezy could actually end up on the high ground.
I still don't know how Dendi ended up with a better block on Radiant the first game. That happens like so rarely, and it actually should be mentioned. And Dire getting a slightly better block is, I'd say, standard.
Well, the last hit's now going to be the tough thing. Neither player with the best base damage. SF notoriously bad, and the first few souls just makes a big difference. If you can start snowballing, it helps you out so much, and there we'll see. Last hit goes to Arteezy, and Dendi yet to respond with one of his own.
And both players are actually very good about manipulating the creeps too. You'll see Arteezy drag the melee creeps very, very often to make it a little bit easier for him. And Arteezy does have better positioning because he does have that better block. And we see 2 raises come out already, 2-0 for both of these players.
Yeah, this is your early mana just to get those first couple of souls, just so you don't fall behind. Probably well.
But at the same time, there's a fine balance because you may be punished for it at level 3 and level 5.
If you don't have mana.
Yeah, if you don't have enough mana, because the player that has the edge early, you generally want to zone them out with a max range raise, and then you just keep trading max range raises. You get one max range off, and then they have to back off, and you just keep wearing them down that way. Especially when you don't have bottles, but before they have bottles, you really want to get CS so you can get your bottles, so you won't be put in that position later.
I guess if your opponent's using raises to last hit, you definitely know you can get away with it as well, as one of the things here. Arteezy already getting fairly low on HP. He did not start with Tangos, so Dendi, already chewing through most of his Tangos, has the HP advantage, and he's going to start zoning at Arteezy. Arteezy on the wrong side of his clip. They're going to go for a kills here. Dendi's going to melee range here, but he's going to lose this right-click battle. Dendi's in trouble. He goes to the low gun. First blood. Arteezy. Too easy. He takes it. Knocks out Dendi from the 1v1
that was a very aggressive play from Dendi. Walking up the opponent's hill is something that you don't see very often unless you're almost sure that you can go for a kill. And maybe he thought that he would hit one more raise, but unfortunately, one of the fan favorites, Dendi, has exited the 1v1 tournament.
All of these guys fan favorites, whoever gets knocked out here, so big plays coming out from Arteezy. I mean, that's the thing, he saw Dendi run at him, he hits like a medium range raise, just so that when Dendi gets in close, he's already low HP and make sure that he can actually win that man fight, so good stuff from Arteezy.
Yeah, I feel like Arteezy is very good at capitalizing on mistakes, whereas Dendi, he had a couple kill opportunities game 1 and slightly missed them.
Alright, well that does it.
What's next for us?